Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. Today with us is María José García-Saavedra from Spain. She prepared a very interesting seminar. I will not speak a lot about Maria. She will present her activities. So, Maria, the mic is yours. Just a second. Okay.
So, good evening and thanks for joining this webinar. Thanks to teacher Rumenovic for inviting me, moderating and for accepting me in this great group of teachers. It's a pleasure to share with you this statistics journey. And I hope that all of you, your family and friends are okay in this time of coronavirus pandemic. If you have some questions or suggestions, please write them on the chat or send me an email. This presentation will be uploaded in materials in the twin space of our group Statistics at School. This is my first webinar in English, and my English is not good enough, so sorry in advance. I'll try to do my best. My name is Maria. I'm a pharmacist and made my doctorate in public health and nutrition. I work as a vocational and technical teacher for more than 25 years. I teach subjects like hygiene in hospitals in lower vocational course of nurse assistant. I also teach data validation where statistics is included in the upper vocational course of health information technician. My school is called Ausias March. Ausias March is a medieval poet of my region in Valencia. Ausias March provides vocational courses that belongs to 4 professional fields: business and administration, trade and marketing, information technology, and healthcare and diagnostic vocational courses. I'm also teacher trainer and eTwinning ambassador. And I work as a professor in the master's degree in teaching biohealth science in the Faculty of Nursing that belongs to the University of Valencia. My subjects in the master's are teaching skills and tools and teaching and learning health science. Now let's get started. There are lots of definitions for statistics, but my favorite one is statistics is a superpower to deal with information. Information is everywhere. We live in the century of information. That's the reason why statistics is everywhere. Do our students have this power? Of course they do. Our students are always searching for information on the internet, in their mobile phones, with their computers, because they want to know, they want to stay updated. Curiosity is innate to human beings. It has to be a gene in the genetic code, I'm sure. Only humans really ask the question why. Epistemic curiosity is our love for knowledge, our desire to learn new things. Kids are born scientists. They really want to understand cause and effect from very early on. Why does curiosity tend to diminish as they grow up? How can teachers keep on motivating students' curiosity? Is statistics also everywhere for students? Let's stop for a moment and think about a world without statistics. How could we know the current unemployment rate? Which kind of social and health services are needed in our community? Where is the best place to build a factory or to go on holidays? Government have reliable statistical systems to give us information. This kind of organization provides society with data. Some examples were perfectly covered by the previous webinar by the teacher Nada Radkovic. Our students will develop their careers in future labor markets. One of the things that I hear the most from employers is that our students need to develop their communication skills. So, our students will have to be able to write well, to speak properly, and correctly display information. Dealing with data can be summarized in working with quantitative and qualitative variables that can be found in all professional and educational fields. Environment, government, medicine, genetics, clinical trials, epidemiology, pharmacology. We are now listening in the news a lot of data, a lot of information about coronavirus cases, tested cases, number of deaths, data, a lot of information. From business fields, physical science, information, journalism, communication, social science, energy, and big data, mobile, GPS, online shopping, urban planning, every consumption, and wearables. Wearables are devices that monitor our daily activity. Questions about those fields are some of the things that statistics can help to decide between two alternatives, to know what was going on in the past and to predict the future. Teaching statistics. So the teaching methodology we use for statistics is essential for our students to become active or passive learners. The main thing is that our students really enjoy searching data and solving problems. How can we make statistics learning meaningful for our students? Learning passively from teachers and memorizing statistical equations is not enough to get the students involved. How can we make Instagram compatible with histograms? There is an old saying, tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand. The last part of this statement is the essence of inquiry-based learning, IBL from now on. I've been teaching statistics for more than 25 years, and I'm completely sure that I've made every mistake a teacher can make. But as a scientist, I learn from my mistakes, sort out problems, and come up with solutions. This is also inquiry-based learning philosophy. IBL is an active learning methodology. Inquiry-based learning is an approach to learning that emphasizes the student's role in the learning process. Rather than the teacher on the stage telling students what they need to know, students are encouraged to explore the resources of information. Instead of memorizing theories, students learn by doing and reflect on their results. IBL allows them to activate their prior knowledge and build their own new knowledge through exploration. Inquiry is natural in human beings. Curiosity is also part of our DNA. Every school year, our students' interests are going to be slightly different, and with IBL, we follow their lead. Although we are guided by students' interest, we have still required to teach through the curriculum standards. We prefer not to be lecturing on the stage in front of the classroom, giving students direct instructions. It's better to help them to discover their information for their own. Sometimes traditional teaching is required, especially with some of the theoretical aspects of the statistics curriculum. Students need to have a chance to share their knowledge and reflect on their learning goals. These conversations help to solidify their learning process. I have been searching on the eTwinning Live and I saw that there is 217 statistical projects. Not everyone is in motion. Some of them are closed. But I realized that IBL learning approach needs to be previously explained to our students. And this is a good teaching methodology to be used in this kind of projects where statistics is involved. So let me share with you some eTwinning projects in which IBL, inquiry-based learning, is the teaching methodology. Our eTwinning projects are, the first one is promotion of healthy lifestyle during education in the school year 18-19. It was awarded with the national and the European quality label. I'm very proud with this project. You have the link in case you, after the webinar, you want to accede and to enter this twin space. The second one is our current project this school year. Its name is Diet or DIET. Did I eat that? Diet Winning for a Better Health in the current course. And our project for the next year, 2021, will be eTwinning Green for You. And I ask you for future collaboration. This project will be founded by Professor Branko Rumenovic and me. And I will explain to you how it's going to be our project. Now I'm going to share with you a little bit about how can we structure an IBL lesson. There are 3 levels of IBL lessons. The structured IBL will be applied at the very beginning of our projects because some key points are compulsory. Those key points are, for example, the initial driving question, quantitative and qualitative variables, and also some tools to work with them. We usually work with validated questionnaires from scientist papers or surveys made with Google Form or similar. To fill the questionnaires, we use a 4 or 5 points Likert scales. I select easy to obtain quantitative variables such as height, weight, age, temperature, very easy for students with all ages, because in our project take part eTwinners from very different educational levels: primary education, secondary education, post-secondary education, and vocational schools. Part of our vocational courses belong to higher education. The guided level is recommended to be used in the middle of the project. Teacher establishes the goal and students can take part in the process to achieve it. They are responsible for designing and following their own procedures to gather information about the key topics and communicate their results and findings. In the last part of the project, the funny part of the project, the teacher will set students' creativity loose and let them propose any activity that they come up with in order to enjoy the project. It's time for enjoying. It's known as open inquiry-based learning level. We use a combined level of IBL, structure, guided, and open inquiry. Once selected the IB level, it's time to carry on with the 5 steps of an IBL lesson. The first one is called orientation. This is basically the introduction to the topic in the eTwinning project. It's the starting point to capture the interest of the class and to activate their prior or background knowledge. The greater their interest in the topics is, the higher their engagement with the project will be. In this slide, we can see the 3 projects, and we use a wonder wall to motivate the students for research about the topics. For example, we can upload in a wonder wall news from newspaper or scientific paper about obesity in students, self-esteem, anxiety, or multiple factors that influence our healthy lifestyle. Depression, bullying at school, it's a key point to start researching. We ask students to bring to the classroom some news, posters, links to be shared on the forums in the eTwinning space in which information about these topics is displayed. In the current project, the project related to eating habits, in the Wonder Wall, we suggest students to bring information about fast food, hidden sugars in foods, what they could eat as snacks in the school, food preferences, and we selected some quantitative variables in order to calculate the body mass index. In our future project, the project about climate change, we will suggest our students to investigate about the temperature along years in the earth, about plastic waste, about zero waste culture, about carbon footprint, about earth temperature and air pollution. We will talk to them about some fun and easy to use applications for mobile like breathometer to measure air pollutants. So the levels of carbon dioxide could be a good quantitative variable to be researched. In this slide, we could see how a wonder wall could be in our classroom. This is some of the posters in the middle of of our slide. We can see a suggestion which was a healthy snack in Halloween. The second part of the IBL lesson is hypotheses or driving questions. During this step, a lot of information is gathered by students based on their prior knowledge and focus on driving question and or hypotheses. We use 2 driving questions for each of our projects. In the first projects, our driving questions were, is our lifestyle healthy? If not, what could we do to improve it at school? This is the starting point of our project. In our current project this year, in September, these driving questions were diet or DIET, playing with the acronym and the word diet. Did I eat that? We want our students to be conscious of what they are eating at school, if these foods are good or bad for their health, and these are healthy foods or unhealthy foods, if they eat snacks, processed food, or other kind of foods. For our future project, the driving question could be our attitude a cause of or a solution to climate change. Does our attitude have an impact, a really impact on climate change? Or it's only a question for governments? What can we do to improve our footprint? Are we part of the problem or part of the solution? We choose. The students have a target populations for the questionnaires, the eTwinners who participate in the project. We display information about the results of the projects in some posters or infographic. In the first of our project of this webinar, we could see that we have forgotten to use quantitative variables. We could only display information using bar graphs or pie charts. We couldn't create histograms or box and whisker plot, and this kind of failures we realize on the reflection time. The third part of an IB lesson is named Planning and Investigation. At this stage, the student may investigate, research for the project, carry out an experiment, or gather data to help answer the question they have been formulated. These tasks usually involve group work collaboration. eTwinners are divided in international teams and are assigned some topics to research. For example, one team is going to investigate about mindfulness. Another twin is going to be assigned to research about proteins or carbohydrates, always related with our driving question. The students will share their knowledge according to their educational levels, from a drawing to be used as a dashboard background or a box and whisker plot with their heights statistical tests and their results. For example, in our current project, our students calculated their body mass index. They were studied about central tendency measures, about deviation standards, about cause and effect of what we eat at school or at home, and they propose healthy menus to be eaten at schools. The fourth of the steps in an inquiry-based lesson is analyzing and interpretation. At this stage, students examine data for solution and match their finding to the driving questions. Did the students discover anything unexpected? Now it's time for students to consider how to present their results. They have the opportunity to use cross-curricular knowledge or skills. They can create graphics, they can create posters, they can create video tutorials in which they practice their English, because part of my content in statistics is taught in English. We use eTwinning projects, we use inquiry-based learning methodology combined with CLIL, content and language integrated learning. Now it's time for students to consider how to present their results. Some groups may decide to create infographics or video tutorials. And finally, we come to step number 5. They gather and structure and write their work as a scientist. They include background and bibliography, keywords, references, inclusion and exclusion criteria, driving questions, methodology used for their investigations and results. It's important for students to share and explain what they have learned and consider what went well, what did not go so well, and positive proposals and suggestions to improve future investigations in future projects. Students can use a variety of tools to help them to gather and display information. This tool may be technology-based or IT tools, for example, Excel spreadsheet to make calculations, Google Form for questionnaires, WhatsApp to spread the questionnaires, video tutorials made with Screencast-O-Matic or with Loom or with other free, fun, and easy-to-use apps, maybe infographics with Canva or Genially or PictoChart, interactive activities to check what they have known, what they have learned with learning apps, for example, brainstorming online tools with Answer Garden or Mentimeter, digital books, or any other digital products in order to share what they have learned. Remember that in the third part of the project, they enjoy while creating digital products, and they enjoy while proposing activities even not very related to the project, but for them are meaningful. For example, they propose to go to a Burger King, to a fast food, and not to eat fat, or to go on a trip and enjoy the nature. It's time to enjoy, to healthy eating out of school, and to learn in other learning environments different from the classroom. Now, at the end of the project, it's time to reflect. It's time to think what was wrong or what could we do better in following or in next project. For example, in the project about healthy lifestyle during education, we thought that we haven't forgotten quantitative variables, only food preferences, only how often do you eat, how often do you use. We could only 4-point Likert scale related with frequency, rarely, often, sometimes, ever, all, but no quantitative variables. So we take it, and in the next project, we sure that we are using, for example, temperature or height or weight in order to can calculate our body mass index, for example. After our current project, we have realized, or our students think, that more live events are needed. They need to share their thoughts, to share their results in not only in the forums in the Twin space, with speaking and presenting and displaying their information, but with online meetings. So for our future project, we can include in the draft that is going to be applied for approval some meetings, more even one monthly meeting in order to share the results. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about benefits of inquiry-based learning. The first benefit is increased motivation and engagement. It's not only about asking questions. It's about questioning something that hooks a student's interest. When our students start statistics projects, they are setting up to search for what they don't know and they need to know, or they are interested to know. They will develop inquiring minds and statistical skills. The second benefit is improved learning. When statistics unit has been well thought out, the very nature of learning process challenges them to think at higher levels. Students are not waiting for the teacher to provide them with instructions. They develop a deeper understanding of the content. These critical thinking skills will be applied by students to other subjects or situations. The third of the benefit of inquiry-based learning is become critical thinkers. Learning through inquiry-based learning provides students with the opportunity to make first-hand decisions. Which question to deeply raise and why? Which tools to use in tasks? How to organize and present the data? How to discuss results comparing to other similar approaches? Which hypotheses accept or reject? Our students are improving a skill to become statisticians, aren't they? The fourth of the benefits is enhanced communication. Students communicate to international teammates and share their investigations in online events. The collaborative nature of students' interaction also contributes to their social development and helps them to improve their interpersonal skills. The fifth of the benefits could be create learning outcomes. An IBL process teaches students the skills to become long life learners and support them in their quest for knowledge. Let's have a look at the many valuable learning outcomes. Higher order thinking skills, critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, understanding content, communication skills, collaborative skills, better retention and better learners, independence and autonomy skills, engagement, energy and motivation in all along the projects, research and analysis skills. Teachers can regularly assess a student's learning process by using formative assessment tools, such as checklists, similar, or traffic, or exit card, or similars. But everything is not perfect. There are some constraints in adopting inquiry-based learning. Teachers are usually positive about the values of using IBL, but many of them find that it's difficult to overcome barriers for adopting this kind of learning approach in their classrooms. For example, they talk about the lack of understanding. It's essential to explain our students how will be their learning process with this kind of methodology and give them guides in which they have under their supervision the different steps of an inquiry-based learning journey, how they are going to be assessed, how many and which learning products they are expected to create, and so on. Students need to become more familiar with this kind of learning methodology in order to gain confidence. Another of the constraints of this kind of learning methodology is time constraints. It's certainly that it takes too much time. It's true that IBL could be time consuming, especially at the beginning. It's important for teachers to dedicate time to planning activities for the inquiries and to be prepared to explain our students how a journey with inquiry-based learning goes, because sometimes it's very difficult. They also learn with traditional methodologies, and any change gets nervous for them. As teachers become more familiar with this kind of learning process, learning and teaching process, the lesson plans will become more efficient. They will be able to share their experiences with colleagues and learn from them. Maybe it's a problem in this kind of methodology which type of assessment tools can be used. If teachers are allowed to free use or their assessment strategies, IBL and formative assessment is a great combination. Teachers explain and clarify their students which are the learning goals to achieve and learning products to be created by them. It's also possible to prepare students for summative assessment practices and demonstrate their content knowledge in a final test. The fourth of the constraints is the lack of resources. Useful resources are vital for this kind of teaching methodology. School can link to other schools and colleagues in order to share resources and ideas and setting up a personal learning network. Which skills will be needed to become a good statistician? I have shown in this slide a great combination, a successful educational mixture. It's very helpful for students and for teachers to use statistics, IBL approaches, eTwinning as virtual learning environment, mixed with students' interest. This is a great combination for success, and at the end of the projects, our students are very happy and proud because they have learned in other way. They have been the main characters of their learning process. They have gained knowledge and higher order thinking skills. Now, I would like to summarize how could be a project plan template. This is a template used in some of my projects, especially in those related to statistics. Our projects are for 6 months, from September to March, because my students go to their practices in hospitals at the end of February. So our projects are 6 months projects, and we follow monthly plans. In September, at the starting point of the course is the starting point of our project, and the first thing we do is to commit with the code of conduct of eTwinning, for example. We work netiquette rules. At the same time, we explain our students how an inquiry-based learning explanation in order to make understand how they are going to work with this kind of learning process. And on other lesson, we start with theoretical of the theory of statistics. In October, we make teams. We start creating the pages. My pupils are editor pupils because they have to create pages. They had to create and edit pages on the TwinSpace. I know that students under the age of 18, they are not allowed to create pages, but my students, it's compulsory for them to create pages on the TwinSpace. It's part of their writing skills because I teach my subject in English. So in October, they start creating the pages on the TwinSpace, presenting teams, who is who, introducing our schools to the other students, and we start talking about our variables, quantitative and qualitative variables we are going to work with. At the same time, we share our wonder wall, and we ask our driving question to start the investigations. In October, at the same time, we are improving our theoretical content of statistics. We speak about descriptive statistics, about deviation measure, about central tendency, and these different kinds of graphs. We talk about histograms and how can we create histograms with Excel. We are learning in different universes, I always say to them. In November, they have learned to create and to write Google Forms, and they spread these questionnaires, and these questionnaires are taken from scientific papers. They are validated questionnaires, and they refer the resource. They are from universities, and they are applied with students similar to can compare our results with the results of their investigations. With our investigations and research, sometimes we present our results in Congress or teaching meetings, and we write some scientific paper if it's possible. In December, they create graphs and display information on these graphs in papers, in video tutorials, in infographics. They start disseminating and sharing with the other eTwinners what they have learned. Now, after Christmas holidays, it starts the guided part. Freedom is going to take part of the project. And they research, we establish the topic. For example, students, this group or this international team have to research about proteins, and they choose their resources, newspapers, blogs, books in scientific database, but they feel free to look for their own resources. In February and March, they suggest their activities in order to improve their healthy lifestyle, which happened in our first project, or to eat healthy food in the second project. And for example, in our future project, they will suggest activities in order to offset their footprint. In this slide, it's a visual itinerary. You can make a better idea maybe at the beginning, the draft, the first pages where we live, who we are, the first topics to work with, some information from scientific resources. This is the calculation of our footprint. Now they will work with variables, quantitative and qualitative variables. They will research with linear regression. They will create box and whisker plots, pie charts, bar charts, scatter plots. And they will discuss and will make conclusions with their investigations. At the end of the project, the dissemination and the evaluation is essential to finish successfully any project. As soon as the project is finished, teachers' meeting starts again, and they check all the twin space and apply for quality label. In the next slide, you will see after the webinar if you want to know more information about each project. For example, in the first project, we were students from 11 to more than 20 years, primary, secondary, and vocational students. 26 teachers from 11 countries and 238 students. As I said, this project was awarded with both national and European quality label. These are some infographics, a timeline. It's time for you to have a look to some parts of our project. For example, here, we made in the first project the promotion of lifestyle during education. We divided our students into 8 groups, 8 international teams. Each international team researched about a factor that influences our healthy lifestyle. An international team was nutrition, hygiene, postural hygiene, oral hygiene. Another international group was named psychology and mind, another one physical activity. In the last part of the project, they suggest some activities. For example, some of their friends come to our school for mindfulness lessons or for activities so different as going by bicycle all over the city, or even relaxed sessions in a school. Sometimes our project has its own voice in media. If teachers agree, we create an email account for the project, for example, with a password and a username. At the same time, is created a YouTube channel in order to gather all the video tutorials that has been created by students. It's very easy for national support services if they can check all the videos in a channel that is property of the project. Now we can see different activities. One of our students was fitness monitor, and they prepared for us a session in the school. So it was an international project named Nature, and they proposed some activities out of school. One of the things that students like the most is to share pictures. With these pictures, we create video collage or collages because we need to create collaborative products. That I mean, it's digital products of An eTwinning project may be created with the contributions from all eTwinners. We can do the same activities in parallel. We create collaborative products. A collage is made by pictures from all the students from different countries. Here we can see our youngest eTwinners. Some of them are not allowed to show their faces, but some of them allowed to see their faces, their nice faces. This is the best thing of the project, the faces of happiness of our students. They make experiments in laboratories or simply draw or make pictures that are uploaded in the walls in their school. One of the most important things for us is to disseminate our project, our results. We are very, very proud of what our students have done, have learned, and we invite them to disseminate, to share what they have learned in any occasion. For example, in some congress, these are my students. In a meeting celebrated by educational authorities in which they shared one eTwinning project. This is our current project about diet, about healthy food. We improve our eating habits in school and out of school. So they can see, first, I divided my students, and then we create with other students in the project the international teams. One of the activities at the beginning of the course is to divide in 4 pieces an image, for example, and distribute the pieces of the pictures randomly among students. When 4 students find and match the 4 pieces on an image, it's a team. So you can see 4 students of my vocational course. Each 4 students, a team, will make a team. In this slide, we can see more information about our current project. And fast, I'm going to show you some of the infographics created in order to check what we are learning and what activities we are doing. In December, we investigate nutrition facts and the high amount of hidden sugars that there are in foods. Healthy New Year resolutions. And after Christmas holidays, only activities to enjoy the project and to improve our healthy habits. Even we made, with recycled materials, lunch boxes. Some of the digital products. Each student is assigned 1 question in the questionnaire. So every student make the same activities, but each student research on 1 topic. These are some of the infographics created by my students using Pictochart or Canva or Genially, and they suggested this year to build a box and whisker plot made by ourselves. These are my students, and I'm the oldest point in the maximum point of the box and whisker plot because I am 54 years old. We can see T-squared test, and some students from other countries made posters in the same international teams. We were researching sugar hidden in foods. Some of them researching on nutrition facts, some of them looking in the classroom the nutrition facts and making posters. They even put sugar in bags to demonstrate the other students that don't take part in the project how much sugar is hidden in some foods. This is how one of our students made a lunchbox. This is how they are our students eating healthy in Halloween. And for our future project, we will research about some of the Sustainable Development Goals. It's a possible logo for our project, and Branko and me will invite you sincerely to join our project if you are interested in climate change. Our driving questions will be our attitude, a cause of or a solution for climate change. Are we part of the problem or the solution? The following slides is only a summary for you to think how it's an itinerary of a project. It's the same information, but on different way. First, structure lessons. Remember, in the middle, guided lesson, and at the end, only activities in an open lesson in order to enjoy the project. We think in the reflection time this current year that it would be great to create a gamification, a certification, as a way to award our students. So we think it's a template or a draft for a certificate of awesome work in the project. Congratulations to our students for environmentally friendly behavior. In this slide, we can see the inquiry learning and inquire as an acronym with terminology related with its letters. A little bit explained in detail each one of the cubes, driving question, validated questionnaires, all the graphs where the information is displayed, the discovers, and reflecting time. Now it's time to remember that we are not only data, we are not numbers, we are human beings, and our students will become data detectives. Statisticians are data detectives. Finally, I like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and his detective Sherlock Holmes. Here we can read some of quotes of sentences from his novels. For example, data, data, he cried impatiently, I can make bricks without clay. Or, nothing clears up a case so much as stating it to another person. It was easier to know it than to explain why I know it. They could also have been said by statisticians. What do you think about? Don't you think so? Now it's time for your questions and suggestions. I hope that my English had been good enough for you to understand me. Thank you very much, and it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Maria. It is very interesting. I'm very happy to participate with you in our eTwinning project. And I send you in chat a link for evaluation. So please complete the evaluation. And please put your email on forum so that I can send you a certificate.
Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Thank you for your patience with my English. I'll try to improve. I keep on learning. I consider myself a long life learner. Any questions? I have written my email account in the chat, on the chat, in case you want to send me an email or a question or any suggestions. All suggestions will be welcome.
Yes, or they can join us in eTwinning group, Statistics at School, where we share all information about webinars, event. Also, you can find this webinar on our page.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Nada.
Thank you, Nada Rat.
So,
according to the question, yes, we have a project for the next year. We have a forthcoming project. Its name is eTwinning Green for Us. And recently we are going, teacher Rumenovic and me are going to apply for approval. And as soon as the project will be approved, we will invite you if you want to join our project. Now you know the driving questions, you know that we are going to research about economy, how climate change can affect economy and health, because teacher Rumenovic teaches economy and I teach health subjects, but any other subject is well included in our project. So when you see our project in the Twin Space, we can write an email and we will invite you to join our project. It will be a pleasure for us. Thank you very much. You are very kind. I know my English needs to improve. You're very kind. Thank you.
okay. If there is no question, I see that someone is typing. Someone asked for link for statistics at school. I sent in chat. Okay, if there is no question, thank you, Maria, very, very much. I really enjoyed this presentation, and I hope we will have a nice time in our new project.
Okay. We'll see you in the Twin Spain.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We will spread our eTwinning group, statistics at schools. It's a very good group. Thank you. And congratulations to be the moderator.
Thank you very much.